The second lie you're telling yourself is that you don't have time for rest. You may tell yourself, I don't have time for rest. Now, the reason this is a lie is because your brain will take rests whether you like it or not. Hi there, and a warm welcome to the Habit Nerd podcast. I'm Dr. Bree Hearn, host and general nerd about all things habits. Over my 20 plus years working as a writer, educator, researcher, keynote speaker, and coach, I've realized that habits influence everything from our health to our productivity and even our relationships. It was Aristotle, in fact, who said we become what we repeatedly do. On this podcast, you'll learn from inspiring experts as they share the habits and systems that help them live happily, healthily, and to achieve enormous success in their chosen fields. Thanks for being here. I do hope that you enjoy the episode. Hi there, welcome to today's episode of the Habit Nerd podcast. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be a quick episode today. I am going to tell you three common lies that we tell ourselves at work. And I wonder if you recognize these lies in yourself. And once we catch ourselves telling ourselves these lies, guess what? We get to flip the script on them. The first lie is that multitasking is making you more efficient. It's a big fat lie. It's not. Every time we switch tasks, every time we move from the report that we're writing to check our email, we are losing 23 minutes of focus. So if you think the average person switches tasks 6 or 7 times every hour and you're losing 23 minutes efficiency each time, how would we expect to get to the end of the day by getting anything done? Those people who have multiple tabs open on their computer, they have their email open, they have their Slack channel open, they have their Teams account open, they have the Word document that they're working on open, they have their phone next to their desk, they have their colleagues around, all of these distractions, all of these tasks that we are juggling at once, guess what? We're not doing any of them well. So the first lie that you're telling yourself is that multitasking is making you more efficient. It's something, unfortunately, in our culture that women in particular wear as a badge of honor. But think about the last time you were trying to listen to your child tell you a story whilst you were paying a bill and whilst you were listening to something on the radio and whilst you were thinking about what you needed to have done for work tomorrow. You were doing none of those things well and your brain was really suffering. It's called the switch cost effect. There is hordes and hordes of research around how it does not work. So stop gaslighting yourself. Multitasking is not making you more efficient. Have a go tomorrow at focusing on one thing and going all in and giving yourself that gift of full focus and see how much more you get done. The second lie you're telling yourself is that you don't have time for rest. You may tell yourself, I don't have time for rest. Now, the reason this is a lie is because your brain will take rests whether you like it or not. Your brain cannot focus and function for 12 hours without any white space. So it is giving you a break whether you think you are taking a break or not. Think about this. The last time you were deep in a project or you were deep in a conversation or a meeting with somebody and your brain started to wander. It happens all the time. So that is when your brain is taking a break. Now, these are the two problems: not scheduling breaks for yourself, and number 2, using those brain breaks to consume more, so to input more into your brain. So you might tell yourself, okay, I'm going to work on this report for the next 4 hours uninterrupted. But of course, your brain can't function for 4 hours uninterrupted. So it will force you to take a break. And guess what? You will scroll LinkedIn for 15 minutes, or you will look at Instagram, or you'll go on TikTok, or you will gaslight yourself that you need to check your internet banking or do some kind of online shopping or whatever it is. But your brain has given you a break, so you may as well have scheduled it. And as I say, schedule it, but actually use it to not consume. Actually give your brain that break so that then when you come back, you'll be much more effective. I really like to use the Pomodoro method myself. This doesn't work for everyone. It works for me. That means 25 minutes on and 5 minutes off. So I focus intensively for 25 minutes. And as I find my brain starting to wander, I know that a break is coming. Once that 5-minute alarm goes off, and I use an app called Forest, which means that 25 minutes on and then a gentle alarm goes off, and it means that it's got a 5-minute break, and I will stand up and walk around. I will go and look out the window. I'll get a glass of water. I will do some deep breathing. I will not go on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok. I will not do more work that is away from the task that I was just doing. That's not a break. So the first thing to do is schedule breaks, because that's where white space happens, and that's what will make you more effective. And the second thing is, do not tell yourself that you don't have time for breaks, because it is simply not true. The third lie you're telling yourself is, and this is the final one, that everything is urgent. Everything is not urgent. It might feel like everything's important, but you need to think about what is your urgent and what is other people's urgent, and what really is the best use of your time on any given day. I would recommend that you create before you consume. What that means is, if you can manage it, try and not check your email for the first, and I'm going to say half an hour. I know that's a big ask for some people, so maybe for you it's 15 minutes, but before you open your email, open your mind. And what that means is, get out a piece of paper and write down in pen and paper, and in a way that will stay visible for you on your desk the whole day, what are your top 3 priorities for that day? The top 3 most important things that you need to get done. Now, this does 2 things. It helps your brain filter out what is actually of the utmost importance, because you can only choose 3. And number 2, it really does help you to keep focused on those 3 things before you let everybody else's urgent, quote unquote, problems in. I once heard a quote, and this really does govern the way I work, that you can tell somebody's priorities by looking at 2 things: their bank account and their calendar. You can tell what they spend their money on, and you can tell where they spend their time. And that will give you all the information that you need about what they prioritize. And if you're not getting through any of your work that you had scheduled, it's because you are letting other people's urgencies take over your focused work time. And therefore, that's really fair for them. You're solving their problems. You are not creating, you are just consuming, and you're helping other people move their needles without moving your own. So that final lie is that everything is urgent. And it simply isn't. There are going to be a few core important things for you in your golden goose magic that you need to do each day. Try and stay focused on what those are and prioritize them. So that's all I have for you today, habit nerds. The lies are that multitasking is making you more efficient. It's not. The second lie is that you don't have time for breaks. You do, and your brain will be taking them anyway. And the last one is that everything is urgent. This is where you need to think about creating before you are consuming everybody else's rubbish. Now, I know I said 3. I've actually just realized there was one that I do really want to give you, and I think this is probably the most important one. The 4th lie, okay, well, 3 plus 1 bonus. So the bonus lie that you're telling yourself is that you work best under pressure. I bet you have told yourself this in the past, that when I was in high school, I would burn the midnight oil and I would do my assignment at 10 p.m. and I would smash it out and I would do a really good job, but by the time I had to have it in by midnight or in by 9 a.m. You've probably had the same chat with yourself about work. When it's really urgent, when I'm right up against the clock, that's when I do my best work. It's actually not. Research would say that you are just acting in a cortisol spike, and you are being inspired by what's known as panic productivity. But I need to let you in on a secret. It's not your best work. You could have done far better work if you had scheduled 3 focused deep work blocks in the week leading up to when that was due, than if you did some kind of crazy mental sprint at the last minute. Now, this might sound contradictory to things that you've heard me and other productivity experts say in the past, that Parkinson's law says that a task will expand to fill the time that we have to give it. That is true. But the other point that I'm trying to make here is that it is a lie that we do our best work when we're under pressure, because pressure creates a panic in our brain. It blocks creativity, and it actually does not create good work at all. So think about where you are telling yourself, okay, I can do that at the last minute because that's when my best work is created. That's a big fat lie. So give yourself a break. Don't tell yourself that one anymore. See if you can schedule deep work, focus blocks throughout the week, make meetings with yourself, and then try and get out of that bad habit. So as I said, I had 3 lies. I actually had 4. 3 plus 1 bonus. I hope that they're helpful for you. Let me know if you tell yourself any of those lies, and if you are going to decide to flip the script on those lies in this coming week. Multitasking is not making you more efficient. You do have time for breaks. You do have time for rest. Everything is not urgent, and you do not work best when you are under pressure at the very last minute. Thanks for spending the time with me today, and let me know what you think of the episode. Until next time, take care. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Habit Nerd. I hope you found some new inspiration, learned something new, or gained a fresh perspective. If you did enjoy the episode, I would be really grateful if you could please leave a 5-star review, as it helps the show get in the ears of new listeners. Plus, it should only take you 5 seconds. If you're keen for more tips and insights, then head over to Instagram and follow Habit Nerd.